Thank you so much. My name is Francis Okpala. I'm from Nigeria. My research area is in plastic analysis with machine learning. Okay. In this plastic analysis, it is a kind of a novel research because in Africa, this we have little work on this, and because of that, because the researchers they don't have interest in Africa, so we don't have much work on this. So the kind of a novel research, and why the choice of support vector machine, that is the algorithm I use here. And in this analysis, I try to, because there are many plastic issues in Africa. The water bodies are full of plastic. The people drink it, but they don't bin it. They throw it off anyhow. So how do we ameliorate this issue? Because it's a big issue. Some school of thought said that before the pre-colonial era, the plastic waste are not much because the GDP is so low and all that. And during the industrial era and urbanization, the globalization, people said because of the GDP is increasing, that is why we have more plastic. Because actually, Africa is the second highest consumers of plastic in the world. And yet, if you look at the GDPs of other countries, you have the Asia, the Europe, and Africa is the least. The GDP nominal for Canada is $2 trillion US, and the GDP per capita is 55,000. Compared to Africa, I'm coming from West Africa, Nigeria. The GDP of West Africa is $700 billion US, and the GDP per capita is 1,700 US, less than 2,000. And yet, people consume more plastic. So actually, it's not just about the increase in GDP. US has the GDP nominal of 26.7 trillion US, and the GDP per capita of 89.7 thousand US, and yet they were able to manage their plastic. It's not as bad as we have in Africa. So what is the problem? The problem, having looked at the problem, how did I collect my data? I used data from Kaggle and the World Bank because we don't have enough data sets. So I kind of having existing data, the one I can lay my hands on, and then prepare the data. I divided it into 80% and 50%, the training model and the testing model. That's it. So I used the support vector machine because the data can be managed and it is a linear regression. Now comparing this to some model, the linear regression, the Firefly, the cardboard, my support vector machine actually gave me 98%, showing that it is a way to go. However, my research does not distinguish this plastic. It looked at plastic holistically and not particular type of plastic. Some plastic, we have degrees of plastic, different types of plastic, but I looked at plastic holistically. So here, the support vector machine, because a novel research, I started with a kind of a medium, because support vector machine is a supervised learning model, and we have unsupervised and we have the reinforced. Okay, so now having done that, I noticed that actually it is not because of the increase in GDP. No, that school of thought, my research has removed that, right? So what actually then is the cause? It is because of attitude. So I have written to the government of my own state in Nigeria to collaborate with the Ministries of Education and the Environmental Science. I am an educator. So there should be a kind of curriculum that we include in the pedagogy deliveries in Nigeria about the plastic waste management from kindergarten. Here in Canada, I have worked with school system. You see the kids, they know how to bin it. They drink it, they bin it. They know the appropriate, the color codes, this goes to this, they know how to do it. That does not exist in Africa. And I want to replicate that in Africa. So it has to do with change in attitude. There should be attitudinal changes, not just machine learning, but human learning. That is the way to go. And this research will help the governments of the African continent and also help in proper waste management, helping in policy formation and making, and the proper plastic waste management in Africa. Thank you.